Hello, good afternoon to all of you who are watching us. Welcome back to our webinars where we talk about innovation in security. This Thursday, we dedicated our discussion to cybersecurity. You will agree with me that it becomes an inevitable part of any business. Now, actually, I will leave the stage to experts who can give us more information about cybersecurity, the current state of our cybersecurity, and why it is an inevitable part, and what actually has changed in recent years, what is driving force for cybersecurity to use it, and so on. So I wish warm welcome to our experts, and they are coming from different companies. I will invite my colleague Marko Gulan, who is actually working as a cybersecurity consultant at Schneider Electric. Hello, Marko, how are you? Can you hear us?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, exactly. How are you? Are you ready for the day?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm born to be ready.
You're born to be ready. Great to hear that. I will also invite other colleagues to join us here. I will invite Oliver Urzica. He is Regional General Manager at Prianto. Hello, Oliver. How are you? How is it going?
I say thank you very much. Fantastic. Great day. Unfortunately, it's raining.
Nothing is better here in Sarajevo. Also, it is cloudy and rain every day.
Jealous on you in this case.
We believe actually that in a few days it will be sunny. Let's hope.
Cross the fingers.
Yes, thank you. Tomislav Musić, he is actually Senior Cybersecurity Consultant at Telelink Business Services. Hello, Tomislav.
Hi, guys. Hi, Said. How are things in Sarajevo?
Actually, cloudy. We are just working with Oliver. It is really cloudy. What about Zagreb?
The similar, and hopefully the sun will shine up because all the floods in the region are getting on the record high.
Yes, definitely. So we already have some problems with that one.
Yeah.
And also we will invite Miha Lavrič. He is actually Chief Technology Officer at CREAplus. Hello, Miha.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. We are fine. And since we are actually talking about rain and clouds, do you have clouds in Slovenia as well?
Oh, we have some clouds, yeah, the ones that we use in IT and also the ones that produce rain. Thank you. And sending our greetings from Ljubljana to Sarajevo.
Thank you very much, Miha, and thank you actually all to join me here at the stage for today's discussion where we actually talk about cybersecurity solutions. So maybe we will start with Marko. Marko, can you actually tell us what is it like to be a cybersecurity consultant at Schneider Electric?
Yeah, so thank you so much for inviting, and I'm so glad to be participant of this virtual conference about cybersecurity. As a moderator said, the cybersecurity is the most important thing in the business in maybe last few years, and so. Schneider Electric in cybersecurity. Maybe it is Schneider Electric is perceived like a company which is producing only the equipment for the transmission of the utilities or electric energy. But so the Schneider on a global market has few different pillars and the departments of the company. Yes, the one of the streams or the pillars of the company is producing the equipment for the electricity and utility, but also we are one of the leaders on the global market for the industry automation. And so under the pressure of the digital transformation, industry automation also became the most vulnerable part of the business and the most vulnerable part of the digital transformation. And so we have to protect and we have to deliver some projects and the softwares which can handle all the critical infrastructures. Also, we are covering all the aspects of these solutions together without company Aveva, which was acquired at the beginning of this year. So we are covering the products and the solutions, software solutions for the smart energy, smart grid, for building management systems, for industry automation. We have also few of our SCADAs, and it depends which scale of your company and your needs is. And also, after all of that, so we are covering the complete cybersecurity for our solutions. And so we are aware that cybersecurity is the most important thing for today and for tomorrow's business. And so we are covering all these aspects. So it is not good for the business if you just deliver some equipment and if you do not deliver any services which will serve this equipment and make this equipment secure and resilient. So inside of the house, we developed with our global partners cybersecurity application platform. And so we are having very, very experienced consultants in IT and OT, operational technology part of the business. And so with our professional cybersecurity services, we are making some concrete assessments and gap analysis and vulnerability assessment. And so we are helping to our customers and clients and how they can make and rise their maturity level and security levels regarding to the all relevant industry standards on a global basis.
Marko, question for you. When did you actually recognize the importance of cybersecurity in your company?
I think that the start of the cybersecurity business in Schneider starts, I think, 20-13 years when Schneider acquires Invensys, which was the biggest company for the process automation and industry automation. And so then Schneider realized how important is cybersecurity in a business, and so they decided to build dedicated cybersecurity teams. And so I think that business started during the 2015.
Thank you, Marko. You also mentioned that actually Schneider Electric is, let's say, one of the pioneers as a company which is actually outsider in cybersecurity. Should it be actually now the rule for all products to be, let's say, cyber secure products?
So I have some disagreements with this outsider player, maybe on some emerging market or some markets which are not so major that we are maybe outside player, but on a global basis, we are one of the leaders of the OT cybersecurity. And so I think that, and I'm sure that we are serving the most critical companies and most critical infrastructures on a global market. So our expertise is very high, and our knowledge is very deep dive knowledge. So we are covering maybe one of the biggest companies on a global basis. And so we are also aligned, and we are aware that some smaller markets are not on the maturity level like some bigger markets, but we are here to change their minds and to meet them with all of all importance, all needs, and all standards which they have to cover. And so we are talking about IEC 62443 standards. We are talking about NIS2 directive from European Union. And so all our solutions are covered, I think, with the 29 standards around the world for the aerospace, for the food and beverage companies, and everything else. So we are also covering all the parts of the cybersecurity for industries at this moment.
Marko, thank you very much. And thank you actually for this information that actually you're not outsider, but actually one of the global leaders in cybersecurity. And one question actually to continue this conversation is about you mentioned like bigger and smaller markets, who actually should be responsible for actually driving the cybersecurity awareness in smaller markets? Is that actually market or the companies such Schneider Electric?
So I think that should be the general knowledge, and so all initiatives, I think that is most important, that are coming from the member boards, because cybersecurity became more business topics, and it is not just a technology topic. So maybe we have some situations that cybersecurity was talked just on a technical and technology basis, but with all these new threats and new landscape of threats, so the cybersecurity started to damage the complete businesses and complete companies. But I think that we will have a chance in the next minutes to talk about some trends and some vulnerabilities and how they can destroy market and businesses.
Thank you very much, Marko. We will return to you again. Now we will move to Oliver Urzica. He is coming from Prianto company, and he will actually tell us more about Prianto solutions, cybersecurity solutions. But before that, actually, I have one question for you in regard to market demand. So basically, how does the market demand for cybersecurity solutions vary across different industries? And what actually factors drive this demand?
Thank you very much for being here. It's a great opportunity. And it's a very, very, how to say, interesting and tough question, I would say, because what we see as not just the trends, but also what we are facing on the market, that there are more threats, more attacks, more vulnerabilities, as much more technologies are implemented and used, then this kind of risk, it's increasing. And with this risk increase, and of course, what we see on the market, the lack of the knowledge, what example Marko mentioned, besides having a good technology is not enough. You need to have the people trained and have the proper knowledge to use those special technologies. And what we see that cybersecurity is booming in the last 2-3 years since COVID arrived, and this new war in the horizon, and in all these conflicts and everything is pushing the whole market, customers, producers, vendors, users into the direction to invest more into the cybersecurity landscape and solutions. So this is the spendings are increasing a lot, even though there is kind of economical crisis upcoming, what we are facing, but still the demand is high. The different discussion is the budget, because the companies are struggling with the budget and allocating budget, but they are recognizing and seeing that if they would like to be secure, if to have the optimal way of working, they need to invest in the cybersecurity. Plus, of course, the knowledge transfer to their employees or the users. So definitely this is booming, especially this year. We see a lot of interesting trends, which, by the way, I prepared in the presentation as well, because we cover as a distributor. We are working with end customers. We are working with resellers, partners, service providers, and we have a 360 degrees view on the market. And it's what we see. I don't know if I can share my presentation.
Yes, for sure.
Just a second. I will share my screen if it's easier, I think.
Still no, we don't see it. Now it's coming.
It should.
Yes.
So as I mentioned, we are a German-based value-added software distributor, which means that we are representing different vendor technologies, especially cybersecurity technologies on the local and regional market, especially in the Adriatic market, where we are providing different support to partners and then customers. Besides of pre-sales, consulting, software distribution, we have very attractive MSP offering to integrators and system houses and managed service providers. And our pillars in Prianto is built on three topics. Cybersecurity is the dominating. Then we have special technologies for Industry 4.0, and altogether it's completed with the digitalization technologies. And if you are looking back to your questions, which trends, which demands are driving the current cybersecurity landscape or market, we made a quick research on our Adriatic and Central Eastern Europe territory, where we see that, example, what you can see here, the main, let's say, trends. There is a big demand for the automation, example, in cybersecurity. There is more and more demand, even though our region is not prepared yet for the cloud adoption. There are more and more customers going to MSP providers, MSSP providers, having from there these special security services. It's very trending and it's very challenging when you have the external attacks. So generally, customers or users are protected from inside, but they are not prepared for the outside attacks. So example, external cyber threat intelligence, it's really booming and there are more requests. Also, Marko mentioned it was really great to hear when it comes to IT and OT, you need to think as one. You cannot separate anymore. So those challenges to be addressed, you need to have special technologies which can handle and secure IT and OT together from one single console. So these trends, of course, implementing cybersecurity regulations, harmonization at that, those market trends and challenges pushes the whole, let's say, market and users into direction to invest more and more in cybersecurity. And in our portfolio, we are providing kind of holistic approach. We have cutting edge technologies which are not just for security, but for SecOps are really good. And starting from predictive cyber intelligence, preventing the cyber attacks before it's happening, managing the whole hybrid infrastructure, being compliant, being able to do quick audits, securing all the network devices, running all applications securely, providing for critical infrastructure customers safe data transfer, which you cannot attack. It's impossible. Preventing data loss, data leaks issues, managing the users, the access of the users, and the most important, which we see this year, it comes to automatization when it comes to incident management. Automatizing all these processes with CM and SOAR technologies. All these things are requested heavily. There is one challenge what we see, the education of the people and preparation. And also the challenge is what we see that a lot of technologies are both implemented, or good thing if it's implemented, but having consolidated optimal infrastructure built or how to say IT security ecosystem, that's missing. Even from the big enterprise customers, we see that they have many different technologies. There is a big overlap between them, and there is not taught completely how to manage. So there is no clear strategy. And now the market is, because of the economical crisis, is moving into direction to harmonize, optimize, and save on the costs. And we see that a lot of users are searching for solutions which helps to have view from one single console, unified view, covering SecOps operations, also covering the security, but being also, how to say, safe from digitalization perspective. And of course, when it comes to data, how to manage your data, how to save your data, how to protect your data, we see big crossing points. And our technologies are really addressing those challenges, but definitely we are working exclusively via channel integrators, system houses, and experts who are delivering those technologies, who are implementing those technologies, and helping the customers and users to adopt and build the internal processes as well. So generally, these are our approach. This is how we work. I have a different view of our technologies in different categories. As you can see, still the majority of our solutions is focusing on the cybersecurity part. That's shortly about us. We are present in all over Europe, and we have internal experts where we can help also end customers and users, but also our partners to adopt, to understand, and have a smooth integration implementation of those services or solutions. So that's shortly about us, about Prianto as a distribution.
Marko, thank you very much for this presentation and for giving us the insights about the Prianto and what are you actually doing. One question for you: what is it like to be between end user and manufacturer or software developer who is actually providing the solution? So how can you actually manage the needs and the solution?
Challenging, and I would say sometimes really difficult. It depends on the vendor. It depends on, of course, the attitude and the knowledge of the end customer or the partner. But for distribution, it's not easy because we are in between or in the middle of the partner, of the end customer, and reseller in many cases. And we need to try to manage this ecosystem, to balance it. And of course, we don't like to evangelize, but we try to find, based on the needs, the right proper solutions. And sometimes maybe vendors doesn't like this approach because they would like to push their technology. Sometimes the customers have some clear view and they don't want to listen to the new stuff. So we try to balance these relations and to drive in a smooth way. But it's really a lot of work. So we need to invest a lot of time, work, and how to say, manage properly all this kind of delicate relations, because it's one of part it's falling or it's damaged, then the others have this effect. They are seeing and feeling that effect. So we need to carefully handle all these special relations, I would say.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Now we will move to Miha from CREAplus, who is actually also a service provider and giving us the cybersecurity solutions. Miha, you can hear us, you can see us, hopefully.
Yes.
We also see and hear you.
I can.
Can you share with us what is new in CREAplus and what do you offer to your customers?
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for inviting us for today's show. I'm really happy and we are all very excited to be here. So CREAplus is a company based in Austria, but we have multiple offices also in other countries. For example, Italy, Slovenia, Croatia, and so on. So we are a company that is working on cybersecurity for quite a few years. Our, let's say, CEO, our manager, has more than 30 years of experience in cybersecurity, and that is how the company grew. We do a lot of stuff basically in our region, in Adriatic region, in countries like Slovenia, Serbia, Bosnia, Montenegro, Romania, Hungary, Poland, also Italy and Austria, of course, as I mentioned in the beginning. So we are really familiar with this, let's say, region. We know how the region works, that it's really price sensitive, and that is why we also found out that it is not enough to just offer, security solutions, but we also need to be specialized also in all the solution as well as on the market itself, because it is a little bit different than, let's say, Central Europe region. To maybe tell you a little bit more about CREAplus, we are basically divided into three different, let's say, departments, if I can say so, or fields that you are working on. One of fields that we're working for is, for example, machine learning and AI, where we have a full dedicated team of 10 people plus that is daily working on developing AI and machine learning models. And we can proudly say that we are really successful on that field as well. The other is development, which is expanding and growing quite a lot in CREAplus. Now we have more than 15 people also, which are dedicated developers, where we are working basically for cybersecurity companies. We help to develop the products from scratch, and we are basically focused on cybersecurity development, on secure development of products. We also conduct a lot of Q&A testing for our, let's say, vendors that we are promoting, selling, and of course expanding in this region, and do other stuff. So you could say that we are basically a valued partner for all our vendors that we are promoting. So for today, there was the idea to also show what are the products and what we actually do in this region and which products we are most successful. For that, I prepared a really short presentation to go through all the products. Can I share it?
Yes, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Waiting for it.
Yes. Take just a few seconds. Okay, I think you should be able to see it now.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so the title, as it says, is the cybersecurity solutions for the future. The idea is that the solutions that we were offering in the past, or the solutions that companies are used to, it's basically solutions that needs to be upgraded because they are not enough for this space of cyber crime that is happening at the moment. What we can say is that, for example, in this region, especially in the Balkan countries, what we are used to when we go to the customers and to the clients is that usually they have a legacy product that is protecting their endpoints, and maybe there is an next-gen firewall also implemented in their system. But what we see is that that is definitely not enough. So that's why we decided to upgrade our portfolio of solutions to be more advanced and be ready for what future in cyber criminal brings. So maybe let's start with the first solution that we are really happy and proud that we have. It is called SIGNIT. It's an endpoint solution, and the solution basically provides you full protection of your endpoints. When I'm talking about endpoints, I mean servers, your laptops, your stationary computers, and so on, where SIGNIT actually prevents attackers to gain access to those machines. It stops Trojans, ransomware, and other backdoors, for example, to be present on the machine. The solution itself is divided into multiple functionalities. That's why it is so attractive to the customers, as it covers a whole range of protection, and it includes more solution in one solution, if I can say it like that. So if I go through that, let's say that a SIGNIT is a MDR tool, which means a managed detection and response tool. So in that case, it means that you are being taken care of if you choose SIGNIT to protect your endpoints. The SIGNIT protection, the SIGNIT platform is divided into multiple functionalities, which gives the possibility of the best protection possible. It has inside of its system, it has next generation antivirus. It has an EDR, user and entity behavior analytics, and also network detection response. It has deception and so much more. So that's why it's so attractive, because usually you would need to have a lot more protections to have this kind of level of let's say, protection against hackers who would want to infiltrate your system. On top of that, SIGNIT also provides you, like I said, an MDR and automated response. So it means that you don't need specially dedicated people to be educated and have experience with cybersecurity to manage this kind of product. It is really easy to manage, and it provides you automatic response. It says response automation. It means that you can create your own playbooks, and it has already a lot of them inside, so you can just use that and have a complete let's say protection. The next solution that is being quite, let's say, successful, and we see that there is a big traction of it, is the perception point. It's a prevention as a service for not only your email, that is the main focus, because as you all know, the main attack vector now is through email. It protects your Office 365, your Google mails, your Exchange on-prem, or even your custom POP3 servers that you may have in your system. It also provides complete protection of your cloud storage, OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, and so on. And also collaboration apps. You know that we are exchanging more and more data, files, and of course secrets in this let's say, companies' chats, for example, Teams, Slack, and so on, where we exchange also documentation which can be malicious, and with let's say perception point, you can have a full coverage of protection for that as well. Why would you want to basically choose perception point is because this is really easy to use. It's also a service, which means that you don't need to have specially dedicated people to know how to manage it and handle it. It has, let's say, unmatched speed when it comes to processing files and so on. And also perception point has one interesting and an advanced layer of analysis that it does. It's called HAP. I don't know if you are familiar with that, but it brings it's like a new generation of dynamic analysis that it's being done, for example, for emails that are coming, and it reduces the speed of analyzing this kind of, let's say, malicious code or malicious files and so on. From example, legacy sandbox could take up to 20 minutes, but HAP in perception point provides it in like 20 seconds. So that is the main difference. The third solution that we see high traction and people and companies are very interested is in Kela. Kela is our, let's say, becoming our flagship product as more and more companies are deciding to use it. It's basically a cybercrime threat intelligence platform, which has its own data lake. So what does that mean? They are one of the 3 companies in the world that have their own data lake, and they fill their data lake with their own data. And this is how they provide, let's say, coverage of companies that are already been breached, or if they are breached and they don't know that they have been breached. So it provides a crime attack surface intelligence, which means that Kela is infiltrating all the hackers. It means that they are present on their chats, on forums, on other, let's say, hangouts where cyber criminals are being talkative and they discuss this among each other. And I can tell you from practice that we have discovered quite a few things, for example, with Kela. We had a lot of situations where companies were already attacked and they were hacked, and with Kela we could tell them and explain that they were basically breached and that their data is being sold on the dark market. So Kela infiltrates also in the dark market and deep web, where it provides all the data to you without you having to risk, connecting to these fishy, let's say, sites in through Tor to dark web or deep web. Kela does that for you, and it provides fraud prevention, it provides third-party intelligence, brand protection, threat intelligence in general, and so on. So it's being used a lot in fintech. So a lot of banks are really interested in this kind of solution, and Kela, let's say, is the leader when it comes to threat intelligence platforms. So now I presented you 4, let's say, solutions, and the 5th one is an XDR, open XDR. It means everything XDR. Stellar Cyber is an American company which basically takes all your data that you have in your company and puts them into one place where it collates, enriches the data, and it makes it readable for you, and it auto generates, let's say, reports if something is malicious. So we are all familiar with legacy CMs like QRadar from IBM, Splunk, and so on and so on. Stellar did a step further, and they have actually put a lot more functionalities in one platform. So it's actually an NDR, it's user behavior analytic platform. It's also a next generation CM, and so on and so on. So it takes all your sources from your companies, from switches, from access points, from, let's say, Active Directory, from your endpoint protection and so on. It takes that data and collates everything between each other, and this is how it provides the best protection and visibility of your network and of the attack surface possible in your company. This is like let's say a sketch where you can see what everything you can take, how Stellar Cyber can collect all this data, and on the right side, which is what is important, is the response. Legacy CMs, they don't allow you to respond directly from the CM, you need to have additional connectors, you need to have, let's say, additional playbooks and so on. Stellar Cyber does that out of the box, and it allows you to, for example, do a response on your next-gen firewall if there is a malicious connection happening on your endpoint. And of course, with the network protection that Stellar Cyber is offering, this is possible and is done quite easily and seamlessly. Again, like I mentioned before, now I showed you a lot of products, cybersecurity products that are being sold like cupcakes, let's say it like that, and we do love that. But in the end, you know, you can spend money for these kind of solutions, but if you do not have some security validation platform which allows you to validate if you if you did the right settings, you did the right configuration, then it means that you threw money away from your pocket, because you need something to validate those configuration, you need something to check those configuration, and then you can be 100% sure that you are definitely protected with the solutions that you chose to protect your system. So Picus is a attack surface management, attack and breach simulation platform, and it basically simulates what hackers do. It's really interesting for fintech, so for banks, and also for companies that want to challenge and see if they have their, let's say, security stack completely optimized. Picus provides you 3 different models. It's a security control validation where we actually see if your protections are being configured correctly. It does attack path validation. It means it tries to perform an attack on your network without, of course, interfering with your normal workday and leaving any trace behind. And of course, also the detection rule validation, which is necessary to also optimize, prioritize, and of course, to discover your flaws regarding cybersecurity in your network. Okay, so that is it for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miha, for these insights into your presentation and about the products. In general, what is it? How do you actually differentiate when businesses or enterprises should use on their own and when it should be managed when it comes to cybersecurity services?
Thank you for the question. It's, let's say, a question on point. What we see more and more is that there is not a lot of people, engineers, that can handle this kind of attacks and to follow, you know, the cyber criminals. So definitely it is what we see on the market and also in this region is that people are using the managed services more and more. So I would say that if companies are small, medium, or big size, there is always a need for, let's say, not outsourcing, but to have a managed or a MSSP platform that can help you manage this kind of stuff. Not just because there is not a lot of people, but you know, now the knowledge that needs to be shared between, let's say, cybersecurity engineers and people who are on the right side, let's say the right side, needs to be shared among each other, and you cannot do everything alone. You definitely need support. So to answer your question quickly, everyone are suitable for managed services.
Thank you very much, Miha. Now we will go to Tomislav Musić from Telelink Business Services. We will also talk about cybersecurity solutions and what is innovative and how it is like to be senior cybersecurity consultant in Telelink.
Hi again to speakers and greetings to all the viewers. So it was, let's say, today it is quite interesting time, let's say like that. So I'm for more than 15 years in cybersecurity, starting from cryptography mainly for financial industry, but now since security is almost entering our everyday lives, from intelligent fridge to endpoint protection from the cyber threats. This is really now wide area, and it is, let's say, hard to cover all the topics sufficiently. So this is why we are also focusing now on, let's say, partnering with many different vendors, but also to enter as in some partnership relations with the end customers as well, because they need help in all segments to choose the right solution, to implement it as it should be done, and to continuously, let's say, live the cybersecurity awareness, and to be able to prevent all the threats when they arise.
Great info. Tomislav, can you share with us in your presentation if you have more about Telelink business services and what do you offer to your customers?
Just a second. Okay, so regarding Telelink, the company started almost 20 years ago in Sofia, Bulgaria. We're having around 100 million euros of revenue. The aim is to be more than 500 of skilled professionals by the end of this year. And from this year, we opened our offices as well in Germany and the USA. Since 2 years ago, we started operating actively in Croatia, Slovenia, and Bosnia, and before that, also covering the rest of the Adriatic region. We are on the stock exchange in Bulgaria, so we are a private-owned company, but quite active and must be aware of all our shareholders. Regarding cybersecurity, this is something that is, let's say, trend everywhere. Most of us maybe are already hacked, but we don't know it. Average time is more than 6 months that attackers or malicious person is inside the organization, and we don't know it, unfortunately, until it's too late. Where to start? So we address all potential projects and all discussion with the customer in some 5 steps. What we found is, let's say, optimal approach to literally raise the awareness and to make some initial assessment what is the current security posture of the customer, together with them to go through various workshops and presentation to set up the goals and prepare what the direction they would like to have it to cover all critical areas we found. As I said, we are going in direction of cybersecurity partnerships because together with the vendor and with the end customer, we must act intelligently to overcome all the obstacles in front of us. TBS is such in cybersecurity segment. We are, I think, almost 10 years now. Main focus was before on infrastructure as such. We partnered with more than 50 vendors for a long time, from Cisco, IBM, Microsoft, VMware, and the various global vendors. With IBM, we built the entire platform for managed security services. We built our own SOC. We have more than 30 customers up and running. But beside our managed services, we are also helping the customers to build their own infrastructure. So we help them to identify the optimal products, integrate them, and educate the personnel to be able to do all needed themselves. Of course, we are there for them to with our analysis, with forensics, and with all other services they need in the meanwhile. We have more than 300 mid-sized enterprise customers now, focused also on Western Europe. This is literally just one segment of this, let's say, global companies like Lufthansa, United Group, Contour Global. So we are working, let's say, efficiently with managed services for global companies, but also we are trying to scale down also to help the small companies, even micro companies, to address all the security needs they have. And thanks for your time for this short introduction in TBS and TBS services.
Thank you very much, Tomislav. We will reach you later again. Now going to Marko. Marko is also present in media and social media as a person who is actually contributing to cybersecurity awareness. And if you are scrolling and using LinkedIn, for sure that you will see some of Marko interviews. Marko, in this regard, and as an expert, how actually the landscape of cyber threats evolved in recent years, and what are actually the key challenges that organizations face today?
Okay, so when we are talking about some key challenges and then some landscape, so I think that maybe it is most important to have the data. What are the exact trends in cybersecurity? So every 11 seconds we have on a global market we have a new attack, and so the number of the IoT devices is increasing, and there is a need only 5 minutes that every IoT device is hacked when it is connected on the internet or on any other connected environments. So 86% of the hacking is caused of the human error, and only 14% of the hackers attack is caused of technology weakness. And also, maybe for me is the most shocked detail that approximate hacker is more than 200 days inside of your system before it attacked your system. And so you need digital forensic needs around 50 days to discover cause of the attacks. So these are the most important data which we have to consider when we are talking about cybersecurity. And business should be aware that cybersecurity are becoming more sophisticated and persistent. Hackers are becoming more successful in breaching companies' cybersecurity defense, and virtually there is no institution which is immune to attack. And so the hackers, so the real hackers are hacking the humans, and the hacker beginners are hacking the technology. So to protect the businesses must be aware of the latest cybersecurity trends which we talk about, and meet with the innovations and ensure that they're talking and thinking proactive about cybersecurity to protect themselves and build secure and resilient environments. So maybe one of the generic sentences, they must implement security policies, and so they have to build security culture inside of the business. So two-factor authentications, strong passwords, maybe it is important to create periodically backups, and they have to be periodically, maybe few times at a day, because of the new trends of the cybersecurity. Educate employees is also one of the most important things, and so have the maybe monitoring of their network system 24/7 to detect any irregular activities. So these are some important things why companies and industries need to redefine the way of thinking about their cybersecurity. So we have some general emerging trends and innovations in cybersecurity that businesses should be aware of some solutions and philosophies, and how they can protect themselves from these cyber threats and attacks. So one of them is maybe zero trust, and some experts said that zero trust is just theory, but I think that is the security model that assumes that no one can be trusted, no outside and inside networks and actors cannot be trusted, and access to resource is granted only to need-to-know basis. So the customers or part of the networks have to have access only to need-to-know data, not the complete systems. Also, I think that especially last few months we are talking about artificial intelligence. So we used it a few years ago, and all our softwares for the security and for the managing and monitoring and network already used artificial intelligence and machine learning solutions. So we can talk about artificial intelligence. Our today's solutions are based on the algorithms which are handling big data, or we are talking about real artificial intelligence. But bottom line, I would like to say, don't use the man to make a business which could be done by the technology. So artificial intelligence and machine learning can be used to analyze large data sets for exploring and detecting patterns or behaviors that are usual or unusual and might be indicating a cyber attack. So if you have, I don't know, most companies have implemented CM solutions, but I'm not sure that they are using them properly. And so if you have 4 employees in your company which are sitting whole day in front of the monitor and analyzing logs, I think that is not so smart solution for your company, because you can better utilize 4 man days to make secure and resilient environment. So this artificial intelligence and machine learning, so they had the different patterns of the thinking and making some conclusions than the human have it. Also, we have the strong penetrate of the cloud security and the cloud solutions on the market, and so especially industry and the cloud are not so familiar. And so I think that secure cloud architectures, so cloud have be more secure and have to provide, how to say, excellent security to the industry. So the cloud architecture is flexible, is scalable, and the industrial systems so are not here to be flexible. So they are so tight, and this industrial part or OT part. So these parts of the industry historically there were just physical infrastructure, and so on the under the pressure of digital transformation, so we transform industry from the analog to digital business. And so digital transformation did not open new vulnerabilities. So digital transformation, the transformation just exposed all these vulnerabilities, which were, how to say, normal way of working during the analog way of doing the business. Also, we have the, how to say, exponential rise of the IoT devices inside of the companies, especially in industry. And so IoT devices are increasingly being used in different aspects of the business of operations. And so these devices are vulnerable to cyber attack. And if they are not secured properly, so they become the biggest vulnerabilities in your system. And so, so maybe the most important message which I have to send to the audience is, so if some device is not secured properly, and maybe it is unsecure, it is not immediate situation that you have to start using it. So you have to know how to use devices and environments which are not secured properly in or from the different ways of the or different needs. So some OT environments are set maybe 30 years ago, and they were unplugged from the network, and so they were set at that day 30 years ago to make their business in the next few decades. And today, if you connect these devices on the internet, so you have the biggest issue, because that devices was not patched for 30 years. And so you have to isolate it, you have to, how to say, resegment it, and to build your network in a few different layers regarding to IEC 62443 standard to make these environments safer, secure, and resilient. And also, which is much important, so it is end-to-end encryption. So inside of the Schneider, we have our product or set of the products and services, which called EcoStructure. And so it is made by our field device, edge devices, and we have some advisors or softwares, and we have our central cloud platform. And so we have the strong regulations for these products and solutions, and we set the end-to-end encryption. And so we have really strong standards and regulations about communications between cloud service and our devices. And so that this is the most important message. So industry does not have to have fear about cloud. So we just have to set the cybersecurity on a proper way. So industry should be aware that cyber attacks are becoming more sophisticated and persistent, which you talked on the beginning. Hackers are becoming more successful in breaching companies, and we have to set defense, and we have to. There is no 100% cyber secure system, but it could be resilient. And so what we can do, we can demotivate attackers to continue attacking your system, because for attackers there are a few things. They have to plan resource or money and time. If they cannot see how they can monetize their attack, so they will cancel their attack, and you will not be attacked. So, but okay, now we can make another philosophy why attackers is attacking. And so I really like the sentence. So you will be attacked if attacker is highly motivated to attack you. And also maybe in the same way what the ex-former director of FBI said. So we have two kind of companies which are hacked and companies which are not hacked, and they will be in the next few times.
Thank you very much, Marko. We are actually aware of potential cybercrime attacks. Oliver, how actually the solutions against cybercrime evolved in last decade? Can you compare cybersecurity before, let's say, 10 years and cybersecurity now?
Yes, let me bring my ideas all together. 10 years, 20 years ago, mainly the cybersecurity was focusing on the internal asset protection, I would say. And mainly we were speaking about hardwares like firewalls, which were offering the, let's say, highest security. And since then, of course, the vulnerability management technologies evolved and had been developed. Then the CM SOAR technologies, especially CM, because the SOAR is trending now. But the incident response, automation, orchestration in the last couple of years had been highlighted, and it's very important also, which Marko mentioned, that having evolving those technologies from one point to a next level, it's critical, but also the usage of those, it's very important. And also we see that this kind of approach of the people had been also increased, and they are getting more and more mature how to use those technologies. And also very interesting that from inside protection in the last years, especially in the last 2-3 years, had been focused not the internal threat. We are focused on the external threats. We were discussing about cyber threat intelligence, and this is what we see in the last. In the previous, it was not so important. Everybody thought if we are protected from inside, nobody can attack us, we are protected, which is not true. And we are getting more and more, what we see on the market, more and more attacks from externals or to the chain of the supply chain. That's also increasing and booming. And the technologies are focusing to provide such cutting-edge solutions where you can automatize. You have supported by artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is also used by the hackers, by the way. So when the protective or cybersecurity solutions are getting more and more advanced, also the technologies of the hackers are in parallel also advancing. So how to say, we have this constant fight between the two kind of technologies, and as our protective solutions are improving, also the cyber attackers are improving. And also we see that this kind of external threat intelligence, automation of the different processes, it's helping really the users to focus on build the strategy, how to protect themselves, how to optimize their processes. Because at the end, these technologies, the cybersecurity landscape, the solutions are supporting our ideas and processes. If we don't have great processes, we don't know what we would like to achieve with the technology, it will not work, it will be not efficient. And also what we see as a trend, it's interesting, identity and access management. Everybody thought that it's a 10 years old story. It's not. I'm very amazed what I see in the Adriatic region. There are some countries as exceptions, but still the identity and user access question is not solved. It's not solved by the process. It's not solved internally. And what we see, they are also missing the technology which supports to achieve this kind of proper, example, zero trust methodology or concept. And also the security solutions, cybersecurity solutions are also moving into the direction to provide a holistic solution, holistic technology, which means to have a unified console or management technology which helps you to how to say, to handle and operate and secure all your devices, users, softwares, whatever you have from one single technology. Everybody is trying to push into this way, and we see XDRs, EDRs, source. I cannot name it how many technologies exist. And as you can see, and as we are experiencing, everybody's trying to have a unified technology which helps the users to have one single pane of view. And also, Marko, interesting, touch the solution, digital transformation, digitalization. What happens with those processes? What is the vulnerability or the risk when customer steps on this road to be more to step into the new era of the digital transformation? How to handle the data, how to protect the data, how we are solving the data governance, the unstructured data, how it's protected, who is access to what. Couple of years ago, they said, well, it's not important, we are protected like that, we are using a couple of security solutions, it's not needed. Nowadays, it's I think it's the foundation of the cybersecurity in a company for the cybersecurity. So, and of course, we are getting more and more attacks. There are international state-sponsored warfares. There are a lot of attacks coming because of different reasons, and we need to not just to be prepared. We need to be able to forecast or to predict proactively before the attack happens. If we are getting such insights, such information, then we can be prepared. So this kind of trends and this kind of investments by the different security vendors, it's huge. And also, it was very interesting note what Marko mentioned, artificial intelligence. I would say it's more a machine learning or correlating data and then putting all together and using that big data lake which we have globally, which can be used easily for such attacks. And also this kind of huge information and knowledge can be added in the security solutions. But still, I don't see the real artificial intelligence like we had in the Terminator, like Skynet. It's not yet that technology, but still it helps a lot. Unfortunately, also the hackers and the attackers are using the same user behavior analytics knowledge information which is leaked out, machine learning and all the stuff. and they are much more faster penetrating and doing damage on our side. So this is what we see, that the consolidation is very important. So besides to have a responsive, predictive ecosystem, it's critical, of course. We need to have restructuring approaches, which is supporting and helps to use properly those technologies. And also, what is, how to say, pushing these cybersecurity solutions to be more advanced, to develop further. It's also the regulations, what we have, or what are, let's say, stipulated. Unfortunately, not yet harmonized, but we have a lot of laws and regulations which are pushing the technologies and the vendors also to further develop, to be compliant, and help the customers to be compliant and against all these regulations. And of course, this helps to have a higher level of security on the company level, but also in the whole ecosystem. So this is what we are experiencing and seeing from our vendors, and also what the market is asking and demanding.
Thank you, Oliver, for this answer. You mentioned the regulations. So, Tomislav, please, how actually these regulatory frameworks and compliance requirements shaping the cybersecurity practices and priorities?
Yeah, from sales perspective, since 2009, I think, when PCI DSS rose up for financial industry, from sales perspective, you'll sell all hell regulations, because it moved a lot of things. GDPR as such was also used a lot as a buzzword, as for technical stuff, but was mostly and still is with law and let's say procedural thing than the technology. But with NIS directive, e-privacy rising, it is quite good, because defining the security standards that organization must meet is something that even without regulation, organizations should strive to, because until organization is, let's say, mature enough to have such processes and procedures defined that could be easily with any technology almost integrated, organization will be vulnerable. To meet such all the regulations are mostly based technology-wise on ISO 27001. To have some governance framework, conduct regular risk assessments, implement robust security controls, and on top of that, educate the employees, because I think more than 90% of successful attacks enter through the people as an attack vector, and the people are always weakest link, and this is something that we are all lacking on, especially in everyday job. We don't have time to educate all ourselves on all the threats there are, and the people should be, let's say, prevent to make such a mistake that could be harmful financial or reputational to the company.
Great, Tomislav. Miha, question for you, and actually Tomislav mentioned the education of employees, and it's important. So what are actually the best practices for educating the employees about the cybersecurity and promoting security culture within an organization?
Thank you for the question. I'll try to be short, as I know that we are running out of time. So the education, what we see is that, and what we think about is that it should start earlier, not in the workplace as we are used to now. We believe that educating people about cybersecurity should be done already in schools, and maybe even later when they go out of school to, let's say, from this primary school to colleges and stuff. There should already be a lot of that stuff done there. There should be a lot of capture the flags supported from government. But what we are evolving, how is this evolving, and what we see on the market is that these traditional ways of educating people with standing in front of a group of 50 people and telling them what they should not do, it usually ends up bad, because usually they don't listen, they are on their phones, and they are thinking about the sunshine and the sea and maybe anything else, everything but cybersecurity. So what we see now that is in the rise and it has the best result is to have platforms that basically go and educate people, let's say more personally. So they give people challenges that they need to solve, and they give them more personal, let's say, advices and information how to avoid and detect and see cyber attacks. So this is the way that is developing now. These platforms are definitely being used more and more, and it forces the employees to listen, to learn, and basically it gives them kind of into direction that they need to follow the cybersecurity guidelines that are being made in the company. So this is where the trend goes, and the traditional educations where we were used to explaining to people how the phishing campaign looks like is definitely going out, and platforms which are dedicated for that are coming more and more in front.
Great approach. Marko, we actually can conclude actually that human error is the, let's say, one of the leading factors of cybersecurity attack. But actually, most of us are using, let's say, like our own personally owned devices like laptop, cell phones, and so on for business-related activities. So is this double-edged sword?
So bring your own device philosophy. So I'm using one of the devices, which is my own device for the for doing daily business. And so yeah, from one perspective, so your personal device could be maybe the biggest weakness of the system. But the most important thing with this in this bring your own device philosophy, so you have to be aware about security policies. So the companies are setting some set of the rules, but you as a user of that device have also to be aware which risks you can bring to the system, or maybe some internal tools or some internal resources. So maybe the bring your own device methodology or philosophy is not for the companies and the persons who are not aware about risks and about threats. And I think that every company have to really deep thinking about bring your own device, and why they have to admit it or this or maybe disagree with this methodology. But in the bottom line, you have to be fully aligned with all processes and procedures and all policies inside of the company, that you can be maybe valuable part of the company who can use his or her own device inside of the enterprise environment.
Thank you, Marko. Oliver, both of you, Oliver and Marko, you mentioned AI technology and its use in cybersecurity. So can we say actually that is it mature enough to support cybersecurity in its services for AI technology?
Yes, what we see definitely the usage of artificial intelligence demonstrated that it really enhances the cybersecurity, because it provides, example, advanced threat detection. It helps with automatizing security processes. It helps also to enable faster incident response, which helps also improving the reaction, improving the user authentication, all the stuff. So artificial intelligence, definitely it has a lot of positive sides. And by leveraging artificial intelligence, I would say businesses can significantly get their defense against cyber threats much more efficiently. And with artificial intelligence, where we, example, implemented already technologies which this module is present, or this kind of artificial intelligence is in there in the technology, there is a demonstrated value, and we see also the numbers where you see the risk of the successful attacks had been reduced significantly. So there are a lot of things where artificial intelligence really improves the all this cybersecurity protection and being awake. But definitely, as I mentioned, the challenge is that the same technology or knowledge is used also by the enemy, and we need to be always with a step ahead of the attacks. And here again, always we are going back to the education and trainings, and to be always perseverant and with open eyes. This is our recommendation, and this is what we see, that organizations are focusing on the technologies mainly, but without processes, education, these technologies is also the artificial intelligence is just there, but if it's not used properly with proper knowledge, it's just a technology which is sitting there.
It is always on humans.
Yes, so all these cybersecurity technologies are supporting us. They are not replacing us. They are not replacing the human. It's fine-tune and optimize our processes, and it helps us to be much more efficient. This is what our vendors, and this is what we see on the market as kind of reality what we are experiencing.
Thank you, Oliver. Tomislav, we actually agreed that educating humans and employees is one of the key components for cybersecurity. And Miha mentioned to us the solutions that are present in the market for cybersecurity. What are actually other key components to create comprehensive strategy and to make, let's say, like robust protection of the business?
Okay, today basics, since remote work as our office now is anywhere, internal network is not protected as it was before. Our internal network becomes internet, so you can work from any cafe. So this is expanding the attack surface. So we are quite more exposed than we were before COVID time. And today's basic must be on asset discovery and access controls, because we must know from which device workers are connecting, what controls they have, and how is the connection protected from that device to the critical resources in-house. This is something that relies on an endpoint protection and such. This is what Marko mentioned with bring your own device. Today there is technology which makes any device available to connect to any critical resource, and this is also the entire connection is monitored, secured, and now this continuous monitoring of what's happening on the endpoints, what the type of methods that we are using for the authentication and as identity assurance that our worker is connecting to that critical resource must be centrally collected and monitored. This is something that now it is also, Marko mentioned the SIEM solution as a heartbeat of entire company, because today with the Cloud Security Alliance and all the threat intelligence combined and as a community, because to prevent zero-day activities, you must have community of the researchers which will propagate the knowledge to almost all participants in this community to prevent the zero-day or to minimize zero-day attack success and breaches. Which will help us, and the organization must ensure that all these controls, policies in the SIEM and SOAR solutions are fine-tuned with endpoint protection devices, solution platforms, and with access controls also. Identities that we are set as ZTNA set to be as need to know, so to allow the access of specific user only to the resources and to assets inside the network as secure as possible and only per need basis.
Thank you very much, Marko. Miha, one question for you, then we will finalize our webinar. What could be actually future challenges and opportunities that organization may face in the field of cybersecurity? What we can expect?
Maybe just to go back to I think Tomislav, it was just to mention, Tomislav said that there he mentioned CM, he mentioned SOAR, he mentioned a lot of solutions, as I mentioned also in my presentation. But we need to also validate those solutions. We need to be sure that the configuration and everything are done correctly. Otherwise, we throw our money outside of the window. That's why we need control solutions as well. And this is the perfect circle that you do. You can put everything inside and think you're protected, but you only know that you're really protected when a cyber attack happens. And eventually a successful successful cyber attack will happen. So it's better to also conclude all the portfolio and the solution with, let's say, penetration testing or with ASM solutions, attack surface management solution, which bring you additional testing and additional or better quality of your solutions and configuration that you do. To answer your questions, my two let's say, friends before me also mentioned AI being used in the defense side, but I have to say what we see now on the market and where we are dealing with our customers, the hackers are using AI to conduct attacks. So let's imagine that hackers have, let's say, hacked around 1,000 computers, and they use machine learning to gather information about a specific target. Imagine you have Shodan, you have so much, let's say, some open intelligence that you can do about a specific company and your target. And let's say that you can automate that with AI. Then you can do targeted attacks and bring the quality of attacks to a higher let's say to a higher level, next level, which makes all these machine and deep learning models obsolete in this solution. So constantly, the idea is to be constantly prepared for those and to test continuously your project that you have. So the future is not just AI in the defense, but also AI in the attack side. And this is what we need to prepare definitely for the future.
Thank you very much, Miha. So we will for sure use as a proactive technology in protecting the businesses. Thank you very much for your presentations and for being here with us and with our audience. Quite interesting discussion and quite interesting presentation with all of you. To conclude this webinar and this panel discussion, I would say that actually as the last message is to educate your employees about cybersecurity, to increase its awareness. And I will also invite my colleagues here on the stage to also give the last message to our audience about cybersecurity and in general as awareness about it. Marko, please.
Thank you.
Last message?
Yes, I will use just a few short sentences. So security and cybersecurity, that is not one-time deal. It is process, never-ending process. When you implement it, then you have to start to check it and test it and implement new things. And so there is how to say, don't think that there is a one-size-fits-all solution. So you have to really meet some weak points from your system, and you have to define which part of the system you have to make more secure and more resilient. And so, especially for the industry, please do not treat your OT systems and your industrial automation systems as an IT, because they are maybe the same things in your ears, in your eyes, but they are two different things, and they have different ways how to talk with each others. And please take the special companies for the IT security, and also use the special companies for the OT cybersecurity, because if you treat the OT like IT, is the same way like maybe you have a car which is diesel, and you are fueling it with the Euro Super 95. So just have that in your mind, that you have really big responsibility for the environment if you are part of the industrial, and please immediately make your systems resilient and secure.
Thank you very much, Marko, for this message point. It's interesting. Miha, what's your last message to our audience as advice? Sorry, we cannot hear you. If you can unmute. Yes.
Sorry, I will just use the phrase of Mike Tyson. He once said that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So get ready, have a plan, but also be ready to get punched in the face when it comes to cybersecurity. So don't be 100% sure that you won't get attacked. It's just a matter of time when you will become the target. So get ready.
Thank you, Miha. Tomislav.
In short, cybersecurity should be incorporated in all segments of the organization. Tailor-made in some segments to be as less intrusive as possible to the everyday business. But in the end, zero trust approach is a must sooner or later.
Thank you very much, Tomislav. And Oliver?
My suggestion and recommendation is to the channel, to the partners, service providers, but for the users and then customers is don't rely always what the technology says about himself. I really suggest, based on the real needs and requests, what you need to test the solutions and evaluate them, because what we are experiencing, everybody is choosing for different analytics and the market leader solutions. Maybe those robust and big solutions are not really helping. So we really suggest to check the market, check the cybersecurity solutions which are really fitting to your environment, to your needs, and based on that make the decision. So it's very important to know what you need, and based on that to decide on the cybersecurity solution, not to choose anything from the shelf because it's a fancy brand or fancy vendor or whatever. And this is the recommendation for partners as well, and for the end customers as well.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Thank you to all of you who attended to this event, especially to my colleagues here on the stage. Looking forward to see you soon in another webinar that we are planning to organize. So thank you very much, and goodbye.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.